Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Sweet here with the gang with an extra. So we've got TJ mixing cocktails. We've got our in-house chef, Drew, and an old buddy of mine, my beer and whiskey buddy, Kevin Foy, who has a knack for throwing in interesting, here, try this. Or we have been at a table and he'll be playing mad scientist. And, oh, damn, where did that come from? So we've got Kevin in here, who's also quite the pit master and grillmeister himself. So what we're going to do is some barbecue sauces, and for the barbecue, and a little bit of a shout out to all of our friends down in Kentucky and all of our distilleries who have all their visitor centers shut down right now. We've got our support the Bourbon Trail t-shirt on, and if you get a chance, buy something different. Go outside of your comfort level next time you're at the store. Get something, get a new release, try a different craft whiskey, and support our friends that are out making the good stuff. So with that being said, what we're going to do is get right to the barbecue sauce, not focus on any of the cooking. Now, the Hybex we've had at the show, and in full disclosure, this is my absolute oldest friend on the planet. We grew up together. He's got a small independent butcher shop over in Palatine, Illinois, and he's made an in-house barbecue sauce that I really like. I was watching him making it one day and just putting a little bit of that brown sugar in there. I said, okay, all right, I got you. Now I see why. So what we're going to do is we're going to pair up the barbecue sauces with some different whiskeys, and we're going to run the full range. Yep, there it is. And Brett makes it and cooks it up there, and you can go get it anytime, and a great meat shop as well. So what I'm doing, like I said, we've got that brown sugar. So I mixed up that little bit of sweet, tangy barbecue sauce. Those that know me, and that god awful Dave Sweet Tooth, I went right to the Angel's Envy rye, and you get all that caramel on there. Just mixing right in with the barbecue. Okay, now I know what I'm doing on ribs next time. So that's me with the Angel's Envy rye, and the Hybex barbecue sauce is sweet meat sweeter, which is right up my alley. And TJ, what do you got cooking on the cocktail side? You said you were going to do something a little bit different this time.
All right, gentlemen. What I've been concocting over here that I got partially ready to go is my take on a traditional Rob Roy, okay, which is essentially a Manhattan with scotch. And so what I've got for my scotch today, I'm using my Black Label Johnny Walker, all right? And what's a little bit unique about this particular Rob Roy, obviously, is I'm using the Hybex barbecue sauce. I actually put half of a bar spoon right into my stirring glass here. And I also used a few dashes of my cassia bark bitters, which I think is going to add a nice little earthy tone here. And so I made this earlier, and I found that I really did need to make sure I stirred for at least 20 to 30 seconds because in order to get that barbecue sauce to really mix in, if you will, that's what you're going to need. So, boom, ready to go. And I have my pre-garnished glass right here. Ooh. And you guys might be thinking to yourself, TJ, did you do anything special with those cherries that are sitting there in your Rob Roy? And the answer is yes. These cherries have been soaking for 2.5 hours in single malt whiskey. Uprising is what I used. So, gentlemen, there is the Rob Roy that I think that this barbecue sauce deserves. Boom.
That color looks amazing.
Scotland meets Chicago.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
And that was Johnny Walker Black?
That's Johnny Walker Black, but I think it tastes real good with that whistle pig you got there. What was I going to say? I think this pairs really well with the sweetness, and also specifically the fact that this is a tomato base, and you're bringing in the sweetness of like the cherries and the sweet vermouth. In this case, I used Carpano Antica, which is my favorite for Negronis and Manhattans. So cheers, gentlemen.
Oh, fantastic. That looks very, very cool. All right, so now we've got 2 cocktails TJ's going to be making us next time we get. You're going to be a busy guy there, TJ.
I'll be sharing the recipes. You got it, buddy. You got it. You can put me to work.
Absolutely. And that recipe is going to be up on Whiskey and Barrel Night, but that's That's going to be cool. So we've got a sweet, spicy, tangy barbecue sauce poured in with the cocktail with Johnny Walker Black. You can get anywhere in the world. So we have our Chicago meets Scotland Rob Roy. Fantastic.
Yeah. Came out great, by the way. Came out fantastic. I'll be sharing the recipe later tonight.
Awesome. So, Kevin, what are you pulling off of the shelf there?
All right, I pulled off the good old Balcones Brimstone, which is pretty much a barbecue fest in a bottle. That thing is just popping. So what they do with that Brimstone is they obviously, what they say they think they do is they smoke inject it after it's distilled with scrubbed oak wood. So, I mean, the stuff alone just pops with flavor when you drink it. But with the barbecue sauce, I smoked a ham last weekend. So about 4.5, 5 hours on the smoker with some cherry wood. And I'm going to try it here with this tangy sauce and see how it goes. Oh, that pairs up perfectly.
Ooh.
Nice.
And now to wash it down with this Brimstone. I mean, this Brimstone here is just chocked full of flavors with the smoke, with cocoa, with the unsweetened kind of cocoa kind of taste, and just like a big old steak rub dumped in there too.
Mixing right in with the barbecue sauce.
Oh my God. It's a barbecue flavor popping everywhere. It's like you just came out of the backyard with the whole family over, and it's amazing. You got to taste this. If you've never had this Brimstone before, I mean, this stuff really pops off the shelf. And with this barbecue sauce, it's just making it, 10 times better.
Nice.
Oh, we definitely got to try that. There's one for you, Drew. Now, Drew, what'd you cook up for us now, or what were you thinking when I sent you the Hybex, and kind of what was the plan?
I didn't really have a plan, but I tell you what, when I tasted the Hybex, I realized that my work was cut out for me. There's no question. It's absolutely phenomenal. But I kind of want to do a little bit of a contrast. So this is more of a Midwest, I'd say almost kind of Kansas City style sauce. I grew up in Alabama, Southern boy at heart. So I wanted to kind of take a trip back home since I can't literally go there. So I made a South Carolina or Eastern Carolina, sauce, which is really, really heavy on the vinegar, super heavy on the mustard. And so I wanted to kind of just do a contrast, not necessarily a competition, but I wanted to just kind of give something to chat about. And it's really freaking good, I must say. I really took my own horn, but that's freaking delicious. And, I'm enjoying that today with a wonderful Whistle Pig. It's a private barrel from Spirits Network, or Made for Spirits Network. Wonderful organization. When you think you know something about spirits and then you go hang out with those guys, you realize just how much you don't know. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to them. But yeah, it's delicious. And as far as the Hyback goes, it's just delicious. I can't say enough about it, but I just want to do something a little bit different today and chat about it,
Oh, this is tangy. Now you put some whiskey in the mix, correct? You put some Jim Beam in the sauce?
Oh, of course. Yeah. There's about there's definitely whiskey in there. So there's about a cup of Jim Beam in there. Apple cider vinegar, a lot of mustard, a few other fun things. If you want to check out the recipe and do something really cool and make it and grill at home, and I would definitely check it out. I will say this about the sauce, though, just because where I'm from, pork is kind of king. So this is really meant, I'd say that the Hybex is definitely going to be more of a red meat forward type of thing. For this, I'd say chicken or pork, but it's really good. I actually made some ribs yesterday and put this South Carolina barbecue sauce on it, the Whiskey Barrel Night South Carolina sauce, and they came out really, really good. So at home, if you want to do that, I'd say definitely give it a shot.
And the color on this is fantastic. So this is the standard Hybex, and then this is Drew's sauce. So you can really get that mustard in there, and man, you can seriously taste that bourbon in it. All right, TJ, what are you doing for us here now?
Well, Drew gave me a bit of a challenge, yeah? So let's see here. We started off with sweet and tomato based, and so with Drew's sauce, it's a bit more spicy and mustard based. Completely different style of sauce. And so what I thought would go really well with that, to use that sauce as an ingredient, would be a Kentucky Mule. So, traditional Kentucky Mule, just lime juice and your whiskey and your ginger beer. But what I'm going to do is just a little bit special here. I've already pre-mixed some of it up. But what's special about this Kentucky Mule is I'm using my Buck Spice Ginger Bitters, which I got from Bitterman's. And I'm also using, in addition to Michter's Rye, is what I'm using for the whiskey. And I created earlier this week my own cocktail shrub. So this is apple cider vinegar based. And this is actually a pear and apple and ginger shrub. And so I thought that cocktail combination, those flavor combinations would go very well with this particular mule. And it's done.
There he is. I'm telling you, he's auditioning for that Cocktails too. He's
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for Tom.
watching.
Really is.
I know that Tom's got my number.
Yeah.
And a Moscow Mule, Kentucky Mule wouldn't be complete with the proper glassware. You gotta have it. And nothing like a little gourmet 2-liter bottle of ginger beer.
Wow, nothing but
Just
the
go
best.
home.
We got Drew back there with like the zombie apocalypse level stack of Budweiser and Light behind him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I'm prepared for my zombie apocalypse with my miniature sword.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And
Just
the
in case
2-liter
there's small.
ginger beer.
But there we go. So that is the Moscow. That's the Kentucky Mule that I came up with for this. Now, depending on the ginger beer, that actually really makes the drink. If you have nice unfiltered ginger beer, that's ideal for this. If it's not very sweet, you might want to add a little brown sugar. But cheers, boys.
So we've got Michter's Rye, we've got the ginger beer, and what else did you do to it?
So it's the Michter's Rye, it's the ginger beer, the Buck Spice Bitterman's Buck Spice Ginger Bitters, and my own homemade cocktail shrub, of which I'll also be sharing the recipe with you later.
Oh, fantastic. And we'll have those on Whiskey and Barrel Night's website along with the video.
Absolutely. But this came out really well. It's very spicy, and so the mustard base and like the more savory nature of Drew's sauce. Where did it go? I've already lost it. I've already lost my drink, guys. Here it is. But I think all of those flavors came together very well with the lime and the whiskey and the bitters that I chose here. So it's another winner, guys.
Oh, fantastic.
Sounds amazing,
Well,
man.
I'm going to switch it up. And last week we brought in some scotch. I'm doing another one. Of course, we're going to go over to Isla because we've got all that spice and the Hybex sauce has got some spice and some tang to it. But like you said, it's tomato based, and we all said it was sweet. So we've got Drew's spice. We've got that mustard in there.
Mwah.
And I like to get that back on the palate. So what we did was a Kilhoman's Machier Bay, still keeping a little bit of home flavor in it. So it's 80% bourbon barrels, but it's lightly peated, not overly done. Holy smokes.
Well,
No
don't give
pun
me
intended.
thanks.
Holy cow. That just takes all that mustard, all that spice. You've got that bourbon flavor in there. You got the bourbon barrels aging on this fantastic craft Isla whiskey. And what a pairing. And I have never, in all honesty, every time I've ever done barbecue, I've always grabbed for the bourbon, maybe a big, like a lowland scotch. I have never done this before, but this is just fantastic. So we've got the mustard sauce, and again, it real heavy on that mustard in with the Isla. Wow, just explosion. So, all right, Kevin, what are you cooking up there?
Well, I stuck to the Isla Islands as well, and I went with the Lefroy Lower. This stuff here, man, it's made blending of 3 different types of casks. We're looking back, as far as blending is from casks from 1993 and whatnot. Some sherry, some hogshead, and some bourbon. And yeah, let's give it a shot here with this awesome barbecue sauce Drew made. See, to me, right away, that barbecue sauce is just absolutely amazing. That is probably one of the best Carolina mustard-based I've ever had.
Oh,
Wow.
cheers to you, Drew. Cheers to you.
I'm really, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
And that's
Oh,
just
my God.
for reference. So Kevin, in his regular day job, has a chance to travel and indulge a little bit across the country. So from Kevin, that's quite a statement.
It is.
Well,
I mean,
I'll take it.
this
Thank
sauce
you.
is absolutely. When I first tried it last night, it blew me away. It really did.
Kevin, what do you think Guy Ferrari would think of that sauce if he got his paws on it?
I don't remember some of his one-off statements, but he'd throw one of them out there. It's really good.
Good.
Man, you're gonna have to have those frosted tips, Drew.
Yeah,
Fair
no
enough.
kidding. But I mean,
Fair
pairing
enough,
it with
yeah.
this, the heavy peaty Lafroig. Oh my God! It makes that spiciness just pop out of that sauce, really front and right in center, and you can really taste. Well, it's helping with the smokiness of my ham too, but it's exploding that as well. It's just a little bit of heaven in every little container here.
Yeah, it's wonderful. As we were saying earlier, that sauce is meant specifically, I would say, for pork. So that it's
Yeah.
obviously working out well on your end. So I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying it.
Oh, you've got to try it on ham. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Right on.
Oh man! And I just went back and still waiting. I had a lot of the sauce in my mouth on the palate, and I splashed that scotch over it. Oh wow, Drew, you nailed it. You knocked it out of the park. Absolutely knocked it out of the park.
I do what I can, man. Just a little Alabama loving for you guys via South Carolina, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Hey, man, this is necessary for me. I mean, in New York, it's a little bit stressful, but now the quarantine is not so bad.
There you go. There you go.
Perfect.
You can stop making
Suddenly I
yourself
feel
those
like
Shirley
something's better.
Temples now, and then you got some real cocktails cooking. Oh.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
You bet. So, thank you, TJ, for as always some very cool, some very interesting cocktails, and
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Drew. What Drew is able to whip together just on off the cuff like that, I cannot wait for all of us to be able to get together. Whether it's Michigan, here, New York, wherever, we definitely all got to connect. And then Kevin with the insight, the brimstone. I got to go pull some off the shelf now and come back. So that
You have to. You have to.
that was a nail it for sure. We have coming up, we're going to be doing Bourbon Bloody Marys, and then we're going to do a Sweet Meats Pete, and we're going to be doing sweet scotches versus peated scotches, and I think we're going to do this in sort of kind of a campfire round robin. We're going to have a few different people participating, and we're going to have some fun with that. We'll bring in Mario Campa, our partner out in New York, who knows everything there is to know about Pete, and I am going to dig deep and make him drink some fantastic Highland and Speyside whiskeys, and then he's going to go and see if he can blow my head up with some Pete, and we're all going to join in together on that. So till then, gents, have a good one. Thank you very much. This was fantastic. Cheers, folks. And again, that was Hybex, Palatine, Illinois. And you got a sweet talk Drew on the sauce, or go on Whiskey and Barrel Night. We'll have the recipes up there, but for some reason I don't know if I'm gonna make it as good as Drew. So have a good one, gents.
Cheers.
Hey Drew, you just keep drinking all that premium beer there in the background.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Take care, guys.
Cheers, guys.